The story begins at a lighthouse on a remote island, where a man named Michael Mason lived all alone. One day, a girl and her father arrived on the island by boat. The girl, Jessie, walked up to Mason's door by herself and left some supplies for him. She had even brought him a gift. Mason watched her from a distance. After she left, he checked the supplies but left the gift behind. Mason's only companion was his dog, Jack. He spent his days playing chess by himself. The next time Jessie came to deliver supplies, instead of just leaving them at the door, she knocked. Mason told her, "Don't come up here again." Jessie held up the gift and said, "Most people would say thank you." She told him that she and her uncle brought him supplies every week, yet he never even came down to greet them. Mason shut the door in her face. Jessie left the gift there and walked away. But outside, the weather had turned violent. Jessie tried to get back to her uncle in her small boat, but the waves flipped both her boat and her uncle's. Mason saw the storm raging outside and ran toward the water. He launched his boat and went searching for Jessie. Her foot had gotten tangled in a net underwater. Mason dove in and pulled her out, but her uncle had already drowned. Mason laid Jessie down in his boat and pumped the water out of her lungs. The moment Jessie came to, she asked about her uncle. Mason told her, "He's dead." She froze, then broke down crying. The next morning, Mason unwrapped the bandage on Jessie's foot. She asked him why he still hadn't called anyone. "Who else knows we're here?" Fear crept into her voice as she said, "You have to take me back." She had no idea why Mason was even living here, since the lighthouse hadn't been operational in years. She told him her family would be looking for her. Mason replied, "You don't have a family. Your uncle was all you had left." After Mason stepped outside, Jessie tried to get up and move around. She found a knife in one of the drawers and hid it under her pillow. That night, Jessie was haunted by nightmares. Mason heard her cries and came to check on her. Jessie pulled the knife on him. Mason calmly said, "I know you're scared and in pain." Then he showed her the proper way to hold a knife, telling her to press her thumb up against the hilt. He checked her ankle, which was still badly swollen. The next morning, Mason carried Jessie in his arms to the washroom. Slowly, Jessie started bonding with Mason's dog. When Jessie asked, Mason told her that he and her uncle had served together in the Royal Marines. Jessie asked him his name. Mason wouldn't tell her. His dog didn't have a name either, so Jessie named him Jack. She started playing chess with Mason too. Mason checked her ankle and found it had gotten infected, and they couldn't go to a hospital. Mason left the island to get medications from the mainland. While he was gone, Jessie looked through Mason's drawings. She noticed he had kept her gift tucked away in a drawer. Meanwhile, Mason reached the city and started gathering supplies. The scene shifted to a public inquiry at Whitehall in London. A hack into MI6 servers had revealed that MI6 was collecting personal data from British citizens to build an advanced surveillance network called Thea. MI6 head, Manafort, argued that since Thea went online, they had intercepted threats at a rate never imagined before. But now, because of this breach of citizens' personal data, both the Prime Minister and Manafort were facing an investigation. Thea would be dismantled. The Prime Minister needed a sacrificial lamb to take all the blame so she could walk away clean. She removed Manafort from his role as head of MI6 and secretly gave him a shadow position that no one would know about. They installed MI6 current number 2, Roberta Frost, as acting head until the next election. Right around this time, Mason's face was caught on a live stream by some girls. MI6 received a notification flagging him as a high-value target wanted for the bombing of the British embassy in Algeria. Roberta sent her nearest assault team after Mason. Back on the island, Mason had brought Jessie some clothes from the city. She tried them on. They were a little big, but she liked them. The two sat down for dinner together. But suddenly, Jack started panting. Mason got up and spotted a boat approaching from the water. Jessie asked what was happening. Mason told her to hide in the bathroom. He told Jack to stay and headed outside. The assault team had reached the island. Mason had traps set up all around. He activated them, catching one soldier in a net and tossing him into the water. He switched on lights all across the area. Inside, Jessie could hear the sound of gunfire. Mason started taking the commandos down one by one, but one commando made it inside the house. Jack attacked him, but the commando shot Jack. He found Jessie and dragged her outside. Mason finished off the remaining soldiers and then spotted the last one running with Jesse. He shot him down and rescued her. Jesse asked who these people were. Mason said, "I need you to wait here. I'm coming right back." He went inside and found his dog had died. Mason pulled out a phone and called someone. "I'm off the reservation with baggage." He put Jesse in a boat and left the island behind. Roberta was stunned. One man had wiped out her entire assault team by himself. She activated her Tier 1 asset, a man known as the Workman, and sent him after Mason. Mason and Jesse reached ashore. Mason was hurt and bleeding. They made their way toward a cluster of houses. Mason was about to break into a house to steal some car keys. He handed Jesse his gun. Jesse had only ever shot squirrels with her uncle's air rifle. Mason broke in and started searching for car keys. But a little boy inside the house spotted him. The boy's father came in and pointed a shotgun at Mason. But Jesse came up behind him and said, "He's hurt. Can you help him?" Meanwhile, at MI6, something surfaced. Mason wasn't the terrorist who bombed the embassy. Thea's code had been manipulated to hide his real identity and flag him as that terrorist. Mason was actually one of their own, an operative who had been listed as killed in action 10 years ago. There was no mission log on him anywhere. Just then, they intercepted a 911 call from a farm in Scotland matching the descriptions of Mason and Jesse. On the other side, Manafort saw Mason's photo on Thea and was visibly shaken. Roberta told her team she wanted Michael Mason brought in for questioning. But Manafort had already contacted their asset, the Workman. He told him this was now a black kite operation and that he answered only to Manafort. His orders were simple: kill the target and the girl on site. Back at the farm, the man stitched Mason up. Mason told him he was going to need his car too. Then he asked, "Where's your son?" Mason understood immediately. The boy had done something. He had called the police. Police cars were already pulling up outside. MI6 sent the local police a do not engage order. But as soon as the homeowner stepped outside, he was shot dead. The Workman opened fire on the police cars as well. Mason fought his way through the officers without killing any of them. He used things like pepper spray and a taser. Roberta discovered that their asset had gone dark and shut off his comms. Mason sped away in the police car. The Workman came after him in his own vehicle. He rammed into Mason's car and opened fire on him. Jesse was lying low in the back seat. After an intense car chase, Mason pulled behind the Workman's vehicle and slammed into it hard enough to flip it over. They shook off the pursuit and got away. A little further down the road, they switched cars. The injured Workman made his way down the road. He shot a police officer and stole a civilian's car. Meanwhile, Roberta called Manafort and asked him about Michael Mason. Manafort told her that years ago, they ran an off-the-books program of elite operatives called Black Kites. Mason was one of the first. He was a prodigy. But when he was sent to eliminate a foreign intelligence officer, he spared the target, falsified his report, and disappeared. Manafort warned her, "You need to throw everything you've got at him, Roberta." Roberta said, "Yes, sir," and hung up. But after that, she uncovered the real story. Mason had been helping an Iranian scientist defect after the man gave them everything on Iran's nuclear program. But instead of protecting the scientist, Mason was ordered to kill him for deniability. Mason refused. Meanwhile, Manafort was watching Roberta through a CCTV camera. Jesse and Mason tried to move through the streets while avoiding every camera in sight. But they got caught on a camera of a car. Manafort quickly deleted the photo from Thea's records and sent their location to the Workman. Jesse and Mason made it to a church, where they met a man named Arthur. Arthur looked at Jesse and realized she was the baggage. The three of them headed to Arthur's house. Mason sent Jesse to another room so he could talk to Arthur alone. Mason told him, "I need a way out for her. She's just a kid who was in the wrong place at the wrong time." Meanwhile, Jesse noticed some medications lying around. It came to light that Arthur had helped build Thea before he left the agency. He was also the one who buried Mason. He changed Mason's identity to match an oil worker. But someone swapped Mason's profile with that of a high-value terrorist carrying an interagency kill order. Mason figured it had to be Manafort, because Mason broke the only rule that ever mattered to him. Jesse quietly crept closer and started listening in on their conversation. Mason said, "I just need you to keep Jesse safe. "Can you keep her here?" Arthur said, "I can't." When Mason asked why, Jesse walked in and answered for him. Because he had cancer. Her mother had taken the same medications before she died. Jesse was upset that Mason didn't want to keep her with him. Mason learned that Arthur only had about a year left. Arthur wanted to help but simply couldn't. Mason said, "What if I go to Kemal?" The moment Arthur heard that name, he shut it down. Not an option. He's a violent trafficker, and you haven't got MI6 behind you to control him now. But Mason said, "Let me worry about that." After that, Mason went to get Jesse so they could leave. But she heard noises coming from outside. Mason pushed Jesse aside and grabbed an iron rod. Bullets tore through the door. The workmen had found them. The two men clashed in a brutal hand-to-hand fight. Both were elite operatives, trading blows like equals. Just as the workman was about to overpower Mason, Jesse showed up with a gun. The workman snatched the gun from her hands. But Mason used that split second to grab Jesse and run. They jumped into a car with Arthur and sped away. The workman was left behind, firing shots as they disappeared. Manafort received word of yet another failure. He doubled down and assembled an entire team. Arthur said his goodbyes to Mason and Jesse. Jesse told Mason, "I wish you'd killed that man." She started to feel like she was becoming more like Mason. Mason told her, "No, you're nothing like me. After tonight, leave all of this behind and start a new life." But Jesse didn't want to be alone. She wanted to stay with Mason. Mason couldn't keep her with him. The only way he could protect her was to stop the people who were doing this. On the other side, Roberta discovered an unknown login to Thea from outside MI6. Meanwhile, Mason walked into a club. He deliberately showed his face to the cameras. He beat down the security guards and told them, "Take me to Kemal." Manafort tried to delete Mason's photo from the system again, but this time he couldn't. And Roberta confirmed that the unauthorized login belonged to Manafort. Inside the club, Mason was brought to Kemal. He told him, "I need a way out of the country for her, with a new identity." Kemal refused. He wasn't afraid of Mason or his business anymore. And Manafort had been retired, so there was no threat from him either. Mason told him Manafort wasn't gone. He was unshackled and more dangerous than ever to both of them. Mason explained that the second the security camera outside saw him walk in, every MI6 operative within 25 miles was activated to bring him in. "You've got 10 minutes, tops. All I need is for you to get her out, and I'll cut the head off the snake, burying all our secrets with it." Jesse begged Mason again to come with her. She believed he was walking into this knowing he wouldn't come back, because she didn't think he had anything to live for. Jesse made him promise he wouldn't die. Mason couldn't make that promise. Roberta's orders were clear. She wanted Mason and Jesse alive. No one was to open fire, but Manafort's team would reach the club before hers. Kemal arranged to send Jesse to Spain with 20,000 euros. The boat would leave in 30 minutes. But before that could happen, Manafort's men stormed the club. Roberta spotted them and immediately recognized they were Manafort's people. Mason saw them too. He took down one commando and grabbed his gun. He smashed a wine glass and drove it into another commando's neck. One of the commandos opened fire. Civilians got caught in the crossfire. 2 commandos managed to overpower Mason. The club erupted into chaos, and in the middle of it, one commando grabbed Jesse and carried her away. Mason called Arthur for help. Arthur used Thea to track Jesse's location and relate it to Mason. Jesse was thrown into a black van. Mason raced to reach her, but Roberta's team arrived first. He had to fight through them too. He punched and fought his way through every one of them until he got to Jesse. He rushed her to the boat and told her, "You're going to be okay." But Jesse still didn't want to leave without him. She wanted to stay with Mason, but this was the only way he could keep her safe. Jesse said, "I'm not leaving without you. I have to save you." Mason looked at her and said, "You've saved me already." Mason pushed Jesse onto the boat and sent her off. The workmen had arrived. The 2 men fought once more. After trading brutal blows, matching each other hit for hit, Mason finally killed the workmen. The scene shifted to Manafort. He looked out his window and saw his dead soldiers lying outside. Mason had come for him. Manafort told him, "You were my dearest and greatest weapon, but you put your conscience first and mission second." Mason replied, "I put humanity over blind obedience." Manafort offered him a chance to rejoin his team. He had more power now than ever before. But Mason ended him right there, putting a stop to everything. The scene shifted to Spain. Jessie sat reading a book while MI6 watched her from a distance, certain that Mason would eventually surface to see her. And he did. Jessie received a package with a chess piece inside. She smiled, knowing exactly who it was from. And with that, our story comes to an end. Let us know in the comments how you liked this explanation. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel.